Well, here we are again, day 2 of, I guess the word's vlogging. Trying to keep up with these like millennial terms, but another really nice day, 65 degrees outside. But it's different in one aspect. Yesterday was like, calm, really, really nice day. Today's it's windy. It started off calm and it just got windy, like uncomfortably windy, like 15 miles an hour. And there's been something that's been on my mind for a few days now that, I don't know, I guess today I've kind of come to some realizations on, why is it, and this is rhetorical, you don't need to answer this, but why is it when somebody like breaks their foot or their femur or is in some sort of terrible injury, for lack of a better word, that seems like the normal response anyway is like, hey, let me go see if that person's doing okay. Sounds like it hurt. I need to see if they're okay. Sign the cast, whatever. However, when it comes to mental health, when you're like broken in your head, your mind, your brain, whatever you want to call it, it's like people are, I don't know what the word is, and then this isn't for everybody. There's a lot of people that reach out, there's a lot of people that care, okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in general, people like, I don't know, not threatened, but are scared to reach out maybe, because with like a physical injury, like you can see it. I don't want to see it, but like you can see where it's at, right? Broken leg, obviously your leg. There's going to be a giant cast on your leg for a while. Anything physical maybe is not a threat because you can see it. However, when it comes to like your mental aspect, when you're hurting mentally, people don't know what to expect. They're like, man, is this dude gonna snap if I go see if he's okay or if she's okay? What's gonna happen? They start thinking, I don't want to say selfishly, but about them, which is fine. You got to protect yourself. It bothers me though, and honestly, I used to be in that crowd of, people are just crazy. Well, I think everybody, this world is crazy anyways, but so I say all that because as I was walking today, I like to walk now because it's a healthy coping skill when in the past it wasn't. My mind was my biggest enemy, so I would walk and just be very, very critical in my thinking, and it was like walking in hell essentially. So I've established that walking now is healthy because it helps me it helps me cope, helps me to kind of get through my mental process and what I'm feeling. But today, I couldn't do a video when I was walking because it's so freaking windy outside. And I relate the wind a lot to like mental health because you can't see wind, okay? You can see the effects of wind. You can feel the effects of wind. You can see what wind does, but you can't actually see wind. Much of the same goes for our mental health. You can't see what's going on in somebody's head. No idea. You can see the effects of it for sure on them, their family, whatever. But you can't see it. You can only see how it affects them, you, or others. It was big. It was really big for me today. And there's so much I want to say. I'm trying to keep these somewhat short so people stay interested, but for the longest time, as I'm thinking about why mental health has such a terrible stigma, to be honest with you, I think it's just because those that are experiencing mental health crises or just having a bad day, maybe they're scared to reach out because of what other people may think. I think that's the biggest one. There's this, I follow a lot of stuff on social media around it, but there's like always these comparisons, like when somebody is suicidal, it's a cry for attention. However, when somebody completes suicide, oh, well, they should have reached out for help. it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation, but I don't believe that's the way it should just be in finality. You know, I do these videos, I write, I do it for me. It's helpful for me for coping. It's a healthy way to get my emotions out. And I, you know, if I help people, cool. If not, you know, that's just the way it is. But it's helpful for me. You know, I can kind of get those thoughts out of my head that just race constantly. You know, when I'm having kind of an off day, my anxiety just wants to spike. But anyways, where was I going with this? So stigma around mental health. You know, people maybe are afraid to ask me, you know, what was it like on the inside, like I was in jail, which that'll come. I'll explain all that later, but I wasn't in jail, just so we're clear. I'm going to say something and it may offend a lot of people. Sorry if it does, but since I've gone through kind of this like total transformation, I made a kind of a pact with myself and with God that I'm going to sacrifice my privacy to help others. You know, this personal journey, you have to, right? Like I'm not a licensed therapist or anything. I can only tell you from experience what I deal with and how I cope and whatever. But I don't give a damn what people think of me. Okay? Don't care. I used to be so afraid of doing things like this, or honestly writing, because I'm like, dang, what if it's not good? You know, I'm not qualified, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Because when people are dealing with mental health and the things they have to go through, they feel like they have to do it alone, and that's not right. You know, you can have people be supportive. I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just saying they feel like they have to do it alone. But that's not the way it should be, because maybe they're scared of, you know, being a burden to people, or, you know, thinking that, you know, every time this happens that he's just a problem, she's just a problem, whatever. It's just, I don't know. I hate the stigma, and I want to change it so bad. You know, I want to normalize that having a mental breakdown's okay. Your brain's the most powerful organ in your entire body. Why wouldn't it break every once in a while? If you don't sleep enough, if you don't eat enough, if you don't surround yourself with the right people, shit's gonna go wrong. Okay, sorry, said a 4-letter word twice, whatever. But I don't know. I try to do these things, and you know, it's a lot different when you do a video. It's a lot different than writing. You can't really see emotion in writing unless you like intimately know that person, and a lot of people don't know me that you know, have followed me or whatever. But I love to write. You know, it's a good coping skill for me. This most definitely, it's becoming one, but I mean, this is uncomfortable as crap, I'm gonna tell you right now. But you know, when you can see a video and you see somebody's emotion in it, it does something different. You know, that's why when people read the Bible or they read like self-help books, you can read it 15 times, you might not get anything out of it because you can't see the emotion, you can't experience that emotion. But when you go to church or when you watch a video or listen to music and you can hear and feel those things, that's powerful. And that's just what I'm hoping to do here. I just, you know, I've spent the better part of my life trying to please everybody else, and I'm done doing that. I'm completely done doing that. You know, I kind of woke up in a mood today, drastically different than yesterday, but I've related some things that I'm going to have some rougher days, you know, but as long as I stay consistent with how I cope, and, you know, I'm a creature of habit, so if I stay habitual to these coping skills, it's eventually going to cement itself in me, and it, you know, these good and bad days won't fluctuate so much. But I don't know. We live in such a, man, the world today is like, it's cruel, it's probably been cruel for a long time, but ever since, you get these social media apps, or, anybody can post anything nowadays to hurt somebody else, and it's all political, it's all this, it's all that. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, none of that's going to matter. What's going to matter is, people want to be appreciated, they want to be loved, They don't care about your political stance, your religious affiliation, if you're gay, bisexual, trans, or any of that stuff, okay? That's all formalities. None of that should affect you, by the way. If somebody comes out and says, hey, I'm gay, or I'm a Democrat, or, how does that affect you? That's what they prefer. If it makes you mad, that's your problem. You got some stuff to work on. But you shouldn't let it bother you. Anyways, that was a tangent. But, when people are going through these mental health issues, they just, one, they're afraid to reach out because they don't want to seem like a burden. Two, they do want to be heard. They want to know that there's people out there that care. For me, I'm walking, I've come to like this lake. It's kind of close to where I live. It's enough away from like the suburbs. There's a lot of hills and farmland and stuff, a lot of nature things, but I was at this lake, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. Much different, felt alone. I felt things that I shouldn't have let consume me, but I did, because I'm human, and my mind was just overwhelmed. And going on that walk was total hell for me, just bawling my eyes out, feeling like a problem, all these things racing in my mind. I'm still walking, I'm still performing a strategy, but it wasn't healthy at the time because my mind wasn't right. But if anybody's walking by me, they don't know that, just like the wind. They're like, this guy's going for a walk by himself, cool, But if they walk by me and I'm bawling my eyes out and all these things, maybe somebody will say, hey, are you okay? Maybe. It's honestly, if they do or if they don't, it's not wrong, right, or indifferent. But it's like wind, right? Like, it's there because you can see the effects. So I don't know. Like, as I do these, there's not really an agenda. I'm just gonna start talking, and if you catch something out of this, cool, But if not, that's fine too. For me, you're literally seeing like what goes through my mind. Like, this isn't scripted, people. This is like totally unfiltered, unedited, undone, uneducated. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I'm a fighter, and in the sense that I will never give up on people, anymore. If anybody feels like they can't, if life's just not enjoyable and they feel like they have to be alone, that's terrible. That should never happen. Life's not meant to be done alone. Never. It's probably in every religion ever. It's not just in the Bible. I'm sure that there's other literature out there that speaks on being in community with one another is healthy for you, okay? But when people are in a mental health crisis and they're alone, they feel like they're supposed to be alone because they're not right in the head, which is wrong. Because when you have a broken arm, the doctor's not like, you got to figure this out on your own. Here's my bill and here's your pink cast. No. You go see specialists, okay? You rehab so you can get better. No different than with mental health. No different. And I don't know why it's looked upon like this. And I'm so passionate about it because it just drives me insane. You have a broken mind. That's a real thing, okay? You can't put a cast on it. You can try, but you'd look like a mummy. You need help. You need people around you, okay? And if people are making you feel like you should be alone, then you got to find new people. I can tell you right now, if you're in a situation and people don't want to hear you, I will listen to you, okay? Reach out to me on Facebook or the website. I'll be an ear. I don't even have to offer anything. I'll just be an ear. But we need people. We need people in our lives that'll help us to be better, to pick us up when we're not feeling the greatest, okay? But you should also have a team of experts. You should have a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You should have a therapist, okay? Those things are healthy, all right? That's another thing that drives me insane is the stigma around going to see a therapist and how, like, private it is. Like going to AA, you know, like you have to wear like a hat and sunglasses, and it's funny, that's what I'm doing right now. But you have to do all these things to, like, hide your identity, you know, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I go to a therapist once a week. Helps keep my mind right, and you know, my therapist is really cool and challenges me. But I also do have a psychiatrist. You know why? Because sometimes your brain chemicals are off, and that's not your fault. All right, it's just the way it is. You know, brain injuries. You know, I had concussions when I was little, and that was before concussion protocol and all this crazy stuff. Now probably messed me up a little bit, but we have to normalize help for our minds. Okay. We got to normalize it, because when a situation arises, when somebody's having a mental health crisis, it's like somebody looks at you like you have cancer. You know, like, oh, you know, I don't know what to say to that person. I don't, you know, I'll keep myself at a distance and I'll just pray for him. Just pray for him. You know, which is, you know, prayer's powerful, but people need each other. And if this is a step for me to help normalize that, I'll do it. You know, I don't expect people to like me. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be heard. I'm here to let people know that it's okay not to feel okay. And you don't have to have a reason. You don't have to have a reason. You can just not feel okay. And if somebody asks what's wrong with you, you know, that's not for them to know. Okay? The question should be not what's wrong with you. The question should be, hey, do you need somebody to just listen? You know, do you want me just to sit with you? You need a hug. Because the first question shouldn't be what's wrong with you, like you've got a disease, you know, that immediately excludes you. It should be like, hey, you know, you look like you're struggling a little bit, can I help? You don't have to be qualified, okay? You don't have to be qualified. You know, if it's serious, you can help that person get to somewhere they need to be, okay? But don't think for 1 second that you can't help somebody because you don't have some crazy title, which, you know, that's just to me, that's just an excuse. But I don't know. I say all that because yesterday I had a really good day. It was beautiful out. It was just it was a good day. You know, today I just woke up kind of off. There's some correlation with that, with how the days are, but I just woke up off, and I can't really pinpoint why. You know, so I got out here, I walked, I'm doing this, and I'll probably end up writing later, playing with my boys, you know. But I don't know. If any of this, you know, I don't look for recognition in these videos. I really don't. I could care less about that. Otherwise I'd look pretty. You know, my face would be shaved. I'd, you know, wouldn't be wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a hood. I would, like, make sure that I'm making eye contact with the camera and then having my best angle, you know, best angle. But I don't care about any of that. All I care about is helping people. And if any of this just, like, sits well with you, then I don't know, that's awesome. I did what I wanted to. You know, I want to help others. At the very core of who I am, I want to help people. And helping people helps me, okay? That's one of the ways that I cope. When I can bring joy to others, and when they see that I hear them and see that smile or that little bit of a hitch in their giddy up, brings me joy, you know? It even puts me in a good mood if I'm in a pissy mood, you know? Like, just randomly giving somebody a fist bump and they like, oh, hey man, that guy recognized me. You know, so I don't know. You're gonna have good and bad days. I'm certainly gonna have good and bad days. How are you gonna respond with it? Who are you gonna reach out to? But help me in the stigma of mental health being this, like, terrible thing. You know, it's not really the right way to phrase that, but everybody wants to say it's not. Like, oh, you know, it's fine if this and that, until you're in it. Like, when you're in that fire, it's a lot different. That hits a lot different. So, you know, I'm going to help end it. I hope you help me end it as well. We're just going to change it to normalize it a little more, because the world's only going to get crazier. So that's all I got for today, but I look forward to the next time.